In order to become a better player in Warzone Mobile, you need to use the proper settings, but the problem is this game has a lot of settings that can get overwhelming and very confusing to many players. That's why today I'm going to show you some settings that will improve your gameplay in Warzone Mobile. Now for setting number 1, let's talk about hit markers. Hit markers are great for knowing how many bullets hit your enemy because it gives you an idea of the enemy's health, and also if I'm being honest, it's very satisfying to hear that sound. But in Warzone Mobile by default, the hit markers are way bigger than it needs to be. Like, it's great to know that I'm getting hit markers, but it gets annoying when the hit markers are bigger than my enemy, especially at longer ranges. At that point, it gets hard to see your enemy and it's gonna make your aim trash. That's why you should go to your interface setting and set the hit marker size to small, and also while you're at it, reduce the opacity to 50 so it doesn't get distracting. Alright, so for the next setting, we need to talk about mantling. Now I know a lot of people have never heard the word mantling before, so let me explain. So mantling is basically when you climb over things like walls or objects inside the game, and obviously every shooter game has this mechanic, but in Warzone Mobile there's a setting called auto mantling. Now when you have this setting turned on, your character is automatically gonna climb over objects when you're running past them, and this is something that can ruin your gameplay and make you lose more games. The thing is, you need to be in control of your character, and having this setting turned on will not allow you to do that. So make sure to turn off the auto mantling setting by going into the gameplay tab. For the next setting, we need to talk about our FOV. A lot of you might know that FOV means field of view, and it's basically how much you can see on your screen. So the higher the FOV, the better the view you'll have of the map, giving you more awareness. Now in the PC version of Warzone, you can set the FOV to crazy amounts like 200, but in mobile, it's set to 60 by default. But you do have the ability to change it to 90, which I highly recommend you to do as it gives you a better awareness in the game. The next setting is all about landing into the map as fast as possible. Landing faster means you can get loots before your enemies and get more time to play it up, giving you a significant advantage. But in Warzone Mobile, there's a setting called auto parachute, which deploys the parachute when you're close to the ground. Now this can be good if you're not used to manually deploying your parachute, but you do have to keep in mind that having this setting turned on means sometimes your parachute will deploy higher than it needs to be. So I highly recommend practicing the habit of manually deploying your parachute and turning off auto parachute. Now besides trying out new settings, you should also try out World of Warship's Legends. If you watch my videos, you've probably been playing boots on the ground shooter games like COD Mobile and Warzone Mobile for a while, so let's move from the grounds to the waters of the world. Now World of Warship Legends is a game where you get to experience naval combat in some extremely realistic graphics, and not only graphics, this game also has some realistic mechanics as well. For example, you can set the enemy ships on fire by using high explosive shells just like in real life, and in this game you have all kinds of ships like battleships, destroyers, and cruisers, and the cool thing is that all these ships are real life ships from 11 different nations of the world, so it really does give you a proper naval combat experience. Also, World of Warship is a very strategic game because you'll be playing against real players, so you're gonna need to build some skills. This game is played by thousands of players on PlayStation and Xbox every month, and the good news is World of Warship Legends is coming to mobile. You can now download this awesome game in both iOS and Android as they had their global launch a few days ago. That means you can now play with console players in the palm of your hands. Honestly, it's pretty crazy that now you're able to play a next-gen console game like this on your phone, and they're also giving new mobile players all these amazing rewards, including a premium ship, 1.5 million credits, and 7 days of premium for free. So if you want to download a game that gives you a realistic naval combat experience, then make sure to download World of Warship Legends Mobile from the link in the description. Alright, so moving on to the next setting, you also gotta turn off another setting called auto melee. The auto melee setting tries to melee your opponent when you're close to them, but this can be a disadvantage if you're trying to do something else like shooting the enemy. Like I said before, in a game like this where you have this many real players playing against you, you need to have as much control of your character as possible. Now the next setting is important because it helps you save more time in battle. This setting is known as the sprint to stand, and it can be found on the gameplay tab. Basically, it makes you stand up when you start sprinting, which is faster than having a button for standing up. This works really well, especially in multiplayer, because that game mode is extremely fast paced. So make sure to turn on the stand to sprint setting by going to your gameplay tab. Now moving on to the next setting, the sprinting door bash setting is another important setting in Warzone Mobile. This setting can also be found in the gameplay tab, and you want to make sure to turn it on. By having this setting turned on, you can bash through doors and surprise your enemies. It's a really unique mechanic of this game that you can't find on other games like COD Mobile. Now if this video helped you find the right settings, then make sure to watch this video as well. I gave some important tips and tricks on that video, and if you're new to Warzone Mobile, then I highly recommend watching that video. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's Warzone Mobile video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.